I don't know, Corona Day 33 or something, 34. We're still here at Guaymaro. Helen did some laundry yesterday in the machine, but we have some new blankets that we didn't want to lose color and color all the other stuff that we have. So Helen did a hand washing and I have to help her now to rinse it out. I'm actually in knickers and should go out like this.
Brown water. I've got rid of it.
Well, it's hot and sweaty here sometimes, and I have to work with shit piles and whatnot.
Brand new. And you sat on it with.
I should show you how nicely our plants are coming along. They're growing fast. Boy, look at that. They almost double every day. Look at my cucumbers. Wow. We only planted them less than a week ago. We're in the tropics, you can tell.
Yeah.
And I saw one with... What's happening? Oh, this is the old seeds. I was thinking we have some flowers, but see? So I put more than one seed in there. And, oh no, this is the seeds. They're coming, they're pushing out the seeds. Interesting. We're just going to leave it like this. I don't even know what they are. They're probably cucumbers as well. They're zucchinis. Oh yeah, my zucchinis are coming. Next to it, these ones are the... oh, I'm in the light. These ones are the Romas. The little ones there. Yeah, coming out really, really nicely. We're becoming farmers here. Oh my God. I watered them only yesterday. And look how fast they're growing here. And the beds where we actually put them in are not ready yet. Because Yuya and Job are still working on some other things. Never mind, they will survive in the pots as well. I think my job is ask again.
Too sexy for my love. Too sexy for my love, love, love.
I'm your mother, you know what I mean. Take this part and then let's just squeeze. I'm so good, I'm so good. And then it's gonna dry like no one would. Corona madness.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna stretch it.
I think it'll actually dry quite. There we go, good view.
We have so much space here to move around. And it's always windy here in the afternoon, which is really nice. Helen forgot to take the pegs. Oh no, she's got some pegs in her pockets. This woman is always so well organized. It's almost coffee time. We're going from breakfast to cappuccino to sports time. And then it's evening cooking time. And then, looks good. Did the brown stuff come off?
Well, sort of. This was the bit that was really bad.
How was the day so far? Productive.
Oh, productive, yes.
We do one thing every day that needs to be done.
I do more than that, but then...
Of course.
It's your job to sweep out.
It's my job to sweep out today.
1997.
Helen is listening to Jackie Chan. On the tour we met in Pakistan and China. Helen loved a Chinese musician. I don't think I liked him at all, but Helen loved it. As you can see, she's still into it. She couldn't remember the name earlier, but no. And? Today is really Corona Madness Day. We shouldn't laugh about all these things, but...
Yeah, but it's the album that I bought. Well, not this one. I'm trying to find the actual song that I like, but it's on this album. So.
If you found it, let me know. We have to play it out loud. I'm sitting in my corner here. Oh, towels hanging in the way. My corner. And I'm listening to the One World concert on the side and working on our website. and the real concert starts in a few hours, but it's not bad. I'm crying a few tears here because it's quite amazing what humankind can do together. In a crisis like this, it's very important that we stick together, and it's one of the things that this concert that makes us all the same, all human, and makes us aware that nobody is really different from any other. We're all the same.
Thank you for staying indoors. Wash your damn hands. My name is Jessie Reyes. Have a good day.
1997.
Boring to her.
Wait a minute. Can't remember the words.
Try and sing Chinese. See, this is the difference between me and Helen. Wouldn't be my kind of music. I had to buy her the CD in Hong Kong, I remember that. We bought a CD player in Hong Kong, remember that?
Yeah, we bought
Back
a
in the
CD
old days,
player.
CD player. And we had that,
Hang on.
we bought a headset that you can
So,
put two headsets
I don't
in.
even know what it's called.
Yeah. You don't know what it's called? Horrible, horrible.
That was back in 1997, so
Yeah.
23 years ago.
That's when we met.
So I don't know how to find out what that is.
It's not our song though, let me tell you this. What's our
can't-
song? Could I be your girl? John Arden.
Yeah.
Sandy had the
How
CD.
do I find out what this is? Because this is on an album, but yeah.
Here he is, Jackie Chan, part of the One World concert, Helen. Singing English.
But he's not singing my favourite.
It's so much better than the CD from 1997.
Mine's too.
So dramatic.
Is he in Japan or where is he?
Hong Kong, I think.
Hong Kong? Oh, he's Hong Kong. He's from Hong Kong.
Here's the fan.
He doesn't even know he's got
Just
a fan.
one touch, babes.
He normally sings in Chinese or Cantonese.
You can sing along this one now.
No, he's in English.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can sing along there. Touch of love. See, very true. It's getting stormy out there. Now it's Helen's favourite singer on One World concert, but she's got to close the door.
Right now, there is an absolute and urgent need for testing. In order to win this fight against COVID-19, there must be accessible and available testing to everyone, everywhere. You can take action right now, this minute, by going to act.me and putting pressure on governments everywhere to provide us with the testing that we need, and to show that you stand with the Solidarity Response Fund. Together, we're going to see each other through this crisis. And now, from Colombia, a performance by Sebastian Yatra.
Oh,
Hey guys, I'm Sebastian Yatra.
Colombia.
Thank you so much for letting me be a part of One
this is
World
where we
Together
are now,
at
right
Home.
now.
Let's keep celebrating the lives of community workers and healthcare workers all over the world who are our heroes, and let's be their heroes as well by staying home. We're going to help stop coronavirus together. This song is called Robarte un beso. Son muchos años que pasaron sin decirte quiero, y en verdad te quiero, pero encuentro formas de engañar.
After your chant, there's a guy from Colombia now.
Anyway, the solar shower fell down.
And the water's boiling. Our coffee's getting ready. It's a busy day.
Solar shower fell down, so I put it in the wheelbarrow. Your pineapple is not in water, it's supposed to be soaking.
Now it's supposed to dry.
It's supposed to dry.
So, one of the things that are really important during our Corona times is that you stay fit and healthy. So every night we're doing our sport. Just came back from a 40-minute run, and I'm going to do my stretches and exercises now. Helen is out there on the property. Thank God it's a really big property, doing her 8 rounds of 15 to 17 minutes up and down the hills here. And she's doing that for about 2 hours or something like this. So something we can do. We have to stay healthy. That's the most important thing. And we have the time to exercise, which is really, really cool. Gives us a good feeling and keeps our spirits up and makes us hungry. So usually after our sport we have dinner. But it's hard to believe that we've already managed a month here. It's a super spot, so we can't complain and all is good. Yeah. Oh, there's Helen coming. Let me show you. Helen coming back from her walk. Oh, there she is. 2 hours of walking. How did it go?
You're talking to yourself again?
No, I'm doing our fitness video here.
No? Our fitness.
How many kilometers do you think you're doing every day?
I have no idea. I do 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it's up and down.
Yeah.
So it probably isn't that far in kilometers, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that's it. That's my bit of sport.
Today is Sunday the 19th of April, and today I tried my hands on baking again because we had 2 super ripe bananas, and so I made a banana bread. This time I only used 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and it looks like it has worked out. We're gonna cut it up in a minute and see if it tastes good as well.
I'm
But,
looking at days for visas.
Yeah, Helen just looked up because our visa's running out. Not our visa, our permiso is running out this week or this upcoming week, and Helen checked online if we need to extend it.
And they say it's all been suspended. But
Well, Helen looked up
The
the
dates, I'm not
Bogota
sure of the
Post.
dates, yeah.
We need to check on our embassy stuff as well,
yeah,
see what they're saying. But according to that Bogota Post, we don't need to do anything because they suspended our permiso from the day of quarantine, which was the 18th of March.
They're saying the 27th of March. The day of quarantine started for us on the 17th of March.
Anyhow, we don't need to do anything until flights are open again or borders are open again, so that we can actually leave Colombia. And from what we understand, our days that we have had left from the day of...
part of our 90 days left, depending on which part of it has been suspended. So it's either, depending on what date they're using.
It's probably 30 or 38 days, so which gives us a month.
Either we've got 28 days or 38 days, which is either the 26th of June or the 6th of July.
Okay. It's raining today. This is why it's so dark in here. Whew, I'm getting hot now because the humidity is rising. But let's cut up the cake and see how it goes.
So let's have a look. I'm too close here.
Looking good. Smells good too. Last time it was quite fishy. I don't smell anything fishy, so this is good.
Well,
I'm going to cut some pieces for the others, and then we have the rest today.
Wow. Whilst we're running around half naked, the rest of the world can hardly take it.
Donald Trump has halted US funding to the World Health Organization over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic. The president said the WHO had failed in its basic duty and must be held accountable. South Korea is holding a parliamentary election despite the coronavirus outbreak. Voters are having to observe strict hygiene measures at polling stations, and those with high temperatures are being redirected to special polling booths. As Austria, parts of Italy and Spain begin easing some restrictions, the WHO has issued a warning that relaxing measures to slow the spread of COVID-19 too early could bring on a second wave of deadly outbreaks in Europe. Nursery and primary schools have reopened across Denmark as it begins gradually to ease restrictions. The children are being kept further apart than usual.
President Trump has claimed the US is passing the peak of new coronavirus infections. It says many parts of the country are in a strong position to reopen the economy. He has been at odds with state governors about the timing for easing restrictions. The BBC has seen a leaked letter which is highly critical of the UK government's handling of the pandemic. The Association of Directors of Adult Social Services tells ministers they presided over a, quote, shambolic supply chain for personal protective equipment and for the thousands of NHS volunteers who have been left with nothing to do.
President Trump has set out his plans for lifting coronavirus restrictions in the US. He said state governors would be allowed to tailor their approach to meet their local conditions. The process would be carried out in 3 phases, which would be reached sooner in some states than in others. Meanwhile, the British government has extended its national lockdown for at least 3 more weeks. The Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said any relaxation at this point would risk undoing the progress already made. The announcement came on a day when the UK recorded another 861 coronavirus deaths. And China's gross domestic product for the first quarter has dropped 6.8% compared with last year. The figures reflect the profound impact the coronavirus has had on the economy of the country where the outbreak began. It is the first contraction of the Chinese economy for at least 3 decades.
The number of people known to have died from the coronavirus global pandemic is now more than 150,000, according to the latest figures collated by Johns Hopkins University in the United States. 37,000 have died in the US itself. Italy, Spain, France and the UK make up half of the worldwide death toll. The World Health Organization has cast doubt on the usefulness of antibody tests for COVID-19, which many countries had hoped to use to determine if people have developed immunity to the virus. WHO officials in Geneva said there was no evidence that having had the virus would guarantee immunity. And 847 people have died in British hospitals in the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of deaths to just over 14,500. The UK government's setting up a new task force to back the development of a vaccine, but it'll be many months before one is available.
has criticised Democratic state governors, saying they were getting carried away with lockdown restrictions to slow the spread of the coronavirus. He has been supportive of demonstrators, though, who are demanding that stay-at-home measures are lifted. But health experts warn that doing that could result in more people getting infected. There are fears in Haiti, the poorest country in the Americas, that an inadequate healthcare system could soon be overwhelmed. Around 60% of Haitians live below the poverty line and can't afford to follow government advice to stay indoors, as they have no means of supporting their families.
Germany will begin relaxing some of its restrictions today to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, allowing small shops to reopen. The German authorities announced last week the infection rate had slowed and the outbreak was under control. The governor of New York says he'll launch an aggressive antibody testing campaign next week to see how many people have had the virus. President Trump has said more than 4 million Americans have been tested for it so far. In Britain, there have been criticism of the government over delays to a promised delivery of surgical gowns and other protective equipment from Turkey. It's now due to arrive on Monday. And police in Canada say a man has shot dead 16 people in a rural community in Nova Scotia. Reports say one police officer was killed. The 51-year-old suspect is also dead. President Trump has tweeted that he is to sign an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration into the United States. He said the decision was taken in light of the attack from what he called the invisible enemy. The price of US oil has turned negative for the first time in history on Monday, with the main benchmark price for the month of May closing at minus $37 a barrel. It's since recovered slightly today, now at $1 a barrel. This due to demand for oil drying up. And healthcare trusts in England warn that the health services supply of face masks could be jeopardised if the government begins advising the public to wear them.
Stay tuned for more videos.